Welcome back to the Relationship Whisperer show with Miss Dragonfly, where we discuss all things relationships with the aim to make marriage great again. Now, like always, I will be going through and doing an astrology reading, looking at an astrology chart for one of our celebrities, and then I will be going into relationship issues. Now, I think I'll be continuing with the series on well-known Australian lady celebrities or actresses mainly. And I'll be looking at their love life because this is what, the show is all about. Love and marriage, love and marriage. Okay, and so this our celebrity today, who has also gone through a recent divorce, quite a recent divorce, is Isla Fischer. Now, Isla, as many of you would know, is a well-known Australian actress that has started her career, again, like most Australian celebrities do, in one of our soaps. And in Australia, it's usually either Neighbours or Home and Away. And in this case, she is from Home and Away. So she played Shannon Reed on Home and Away for about 3 or 4 years. And she actually did quite well. I mean, she received 2 Logie Award nominations. And interesting enough about Isla, I thought she was just Australian, born and bred. But apparently she was born in Oman, of all places, to Scottish parents, who then moved her to Australia during her childhood. So, with a lot of redheads like Isla is, you're kind of not really sure if they're a true redhead. But now that I guess we know she actually has Scottish roots, and yeah, she probably is a real redhead where she's from. So she is going to be a celebrity that we're looking at today. I mean, with a lot of young Australian actresses or actors that have started on the soaps, it seems to be more like a launching pad now, being on Australian soap, either Neighbours or Home and Away, and then they get picked up, and then they head towards Hollywood to start their career. And the more unusual one was, I think, Kylie. I mean, she didn't go being an actress. She didn't go into actressing, being into acting. She, as her career, she branched off and went into singing and became a pop star. And I guess the rest, as you know, is history. Well, Isla, let's have a look at Isla, what she's actually done. After her stint in Home and Away, she transitioned to Hollywood with a supporting role in Scooby-Doo, that Scooby-Doo live-action movie in 2002. Now, I didn't watch Scooby-Doo, but I watched snippets of it, and I'm not sure which character she actually played, so I can't remember her in it. And then she starred in films like The Wedding Crashers in 2005, The Wedding Days in 2006, Confessions of a Shopaholic in 2009. Okay, that one she actually was a main star, okay? I did not actually watch the movie, but I saw snippets of it, and apparently it did pretty well. Delving into some of a main habit for a lot of young women, that's being a shopaholic. And also something a lot of us can identify with. It's very easy to slip into that and become a shopaholic. You do get a buzz. All the ladies out there that are listening, it's a certain buzz and it's a good feeling when you buy something, or especially nowadays you receive a new package in the mail. Oh, it's arrived. Quickly go and open it, and you get that moment of euphoria, and then it's gone. So I guess it's almost like a drug addict. You just have to keep at it to keep getting that hit all the time. So I can understand why people then slip into being a shopaholic, because then you have to keep buying and one after another to keep getting that thrill, that hit, and that high, so to speak. So that movie would have touched on a lot of people, a nerve of a lot of people. And then it was The Bachelorette in 2012 and The Great Gatsby 2013. Now You See Me in 2013 as well, and Nocturnal Animals in 2016. And so her other credits included I Heart Huckabees 2004, Definitely Maybe 2008, Keeping Up with the Joneses 2016 rather. Just the title alone would tell you what it's all about, Keeping Up with the Joneses. Tag in 2018, The Beach Bum 2019. And she also was a voice actor as well in animated films like Horton Hears a Who 2008, Rango 2011, Rise of the Guardians 2012, and Back to the Outback 2021. Now, she also had a recurring role on the 4th and 5th seasons of that sitcom Arrested Development, 2013 to 2019, and starred in the comedy drama series Wolf Like Me since 2022. That one I haven't heard of at all. I'm actually not familiar with a lot of these things that she's starred in, so I guess there weren't very major roles or major series or major movies. And this is something I did not know. She actually authored 2 young adult novels and the Marge in Charge book series. Okay, so author as well. Good on her. Now, from 2010 to 2024 this year, she was married to Sacha Baron Cohen, whom she has 3 children, and so that's going to be the focus of my reading today. Looking at, well, essentially what happened, because it was quite a long-term marriage and relationship. They were together for quite a while. So it's a shame that it's split. I mean, I thought they were set, like as in with lots of relationships that have been going on for a while, but well, it wasn't to be. And so today we're going to look at, well, what happened, and is there anything in their charts, especially hers, that would tell us why it happened. All right. So that's going to be our celebrity reading for today. Now, today we'll be discussing Isla Fischer's relationship, or rather her marriage to Sacha Baron Cohen. And if you're not familiar with Isla, you definitely should be familiar with Sacha Baron Cohen. Just think Borat from Kazakhstan. That character did as a parody. And I guess, look, I think Kazakhstan initially wasn't too happy with them playing that character and stereotyping their countrymen, so to speak. But I think afterwards they were a bit mellow when they realized, he just generated so much publicity and free advertising for the country. And as I understand it, after when that movie went out, Borat, Kazakhstan got an influx of tourists because of that movie. I guess in a lot of respects a bit curious, because it's one of those countries you never really think of because they're hardly ever in the news. You know, it's kind of like especially those Central Asian republics, like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, that sort of thing. You just don't think of countries like that, or don't think of going there to visit, or on your next holiday, like people do, let's go to Paris or Rio de Janeiro or things like that. You know what I mean? Or even, what's that? What is that? Maldives and Madagascar or something like that. It's just not countries you think of going. I'm thinking, what's there for you? And especially such landlocked countries. Well, yeah. You can imagine there's no lying on the beach and enjoying a coconut drink, so to speak, that sort of thing. Well, anyway, yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen. But today our focus is on Isla. Okay, now, as I said, Isla was actually born in Oman, Muscat, Oman, to Scottish parents. And so she moved to Australia during her childhood. They moved her to Australia and grew up here. And so ever since then, she's been known as an Aussie actress, especially, yeah, Home and Away. Yeah, known and associated with Home and Away. Now, Isla. Unfortunately, we do not know when her time of birth is. And so because we do not know when her time of birth is, we are not able to generate our pillar from that. So we've only got 3 out of 4 to work with. Okay, so she was born on the 3rd of February 1976. And from that date of birth, we generate her 4 pillars chart. The year pillar being Yin Wood Rabbit, the month pillar being Yin Earth Ox, the day pillar being Yin Wood again, Rooster. So she's got a rabbit, ox, and rooster. And as some of you may know by now, roosters and rabbits clash. It's a direct clash, but she's got the ox in between them to separate them. And so there's not too much of not as much of a clash between her inner and the outside. But she is going to be different from her public persona, and based on what I can see, only from 3 pillars, and her internal persona. So, what type of chart is she? Well, immediately I can see besides the clash, she has a combination. She has a combination between her rooster on her day and the ox on her month. And they form a partial metal combination as well. So because it's a metal, we can say that she follows the power. She actually likes power in her chart. And that is natural to her. So from that, because of that, her most favorable elements would be metal and then earth, because earth produces and supports metal. The third one would be water, and the fourth one would be wood and then fire. Fire would be her least favorable element, and second least favorable would be wood. So on a chart, normally the first 2 are the best elements. They'll be the favorable, and the bottom 2 are the unfavorable elements. And the third one would be neutral. Neither here nor there. Neither bad, good, nor bad. Now, let's have a look at Sacha's chart. Now, Sacha was born in London, in the UK, to Jewish parents. And yes, he's actually quite a strict Jew, as I understand it, because Isla had to convert to Judaism to marry him. So I think at that stage, when you're in love, I guess you do anything to be with the one you love. Though I personally don't agree with changing your religion for love, simply because, well, it's changing who you are, really. It's changing your belief system, and your belief system, which your religion is a big part of, actually formed who you are, developed who you are. You are the person that you are because of your beliefs. And it's like someone falls in love with you because of the way you are. Why would they want to change you? It's changing who you are and your belief system. And then you're no longer the person that you are. If someone loves you, for you, they should also understand and realize that you are who you are because of your belief system, and your religion has shaped who you are. Why change your belief system? I mean, even if you were not religious and the other person is, your partner is, if you say you don't mind and change to his religion, well, if you don't really follow it, and then basically it's like you're faking it for a first instance. You're faking it because you're doing it just for appearance's sake. And secondly, if you really do believe it, then you've just changed yourself. And now you're no longer the person that you were. So you're no longer the person that your partner fell in love with. And so I don't agree with converting for that, or with people wanting your partner to convert. I mean, there are a couple of instances where it's, well, mainly for political reasons, and such as, if you're marrying to the royal family, they have their state religion, and because of the position they're obliged, they have to uphold that religion, stay. And if you're marrying into them, well, yes, if you're going to be a member of that family and representing that country, then you should need to also follow the religion of that country. This is like the case of Mary Donaldson, who was an Australian, and I think she was Anglican. But when she married into the Danish royal family, she had to convert into the Lutheran Church because that was the state religion of Denmark. And by all rights, she had to, because now she's become the Queen of Denmark. So she's now Queen Mary, and as the Queen of a country, the state religion is the Lutheran Church. By all rights, yes. By necessity, she also had to convert. So that's something different, but it's not something affects everyday people. And for everyday people, it's something different. Okay? It's basically affecting who you are. Now, back to Sacha Baron Cohen. He was, again, we do not know what his time of birth is, and so we would not know what his hour pillar is. So again, only have 3 out of 4 pillars to work with. So sometimes not having the 4th pillar doesn't really change the chart, but in other instances, it does change the chart. With 25% of the chart missing, the information missing, it could be a determining factor, but we don't know. And there are some readers that actually refuse to do readings without the time of birth, because then they say it cannot be real, and they just don't. And professionally, they don't want to do something that they're not confident in that would be correct. And I guess that then becomes a bit of an issue for people, because not everyone knows their time of birth. And I think once upon a time when the baby's born and then the doctor goes, okay, check the time, record the time of birth, and the mother would know it. But I don't know if it actually got onto the birth certificate, because birth certificates, as I've seen, usually don't have the time of birth on it. So, okay. So that becomes an issue for a lot of people. And I guess in everyday life, it's not an issue until you want to get your astrology chart read. So for those that are after an astrology reading and you don't know your date of birth, ask your parents. If your parents are not around, then ask someone else that may know, such as a sibling, when they accompany their mummy for her to get labour, or an aunt or an uncle that they may know, or a close family friend that will possibly remember. All right. Now, Sacha. So, no, we don't know his time of birth. So, the date of birth is the 13th of October, 1971. Now, because of that, his chart now is, on the year pillar is Yin Metal Pig. Month pillar is Yang Earth Dog. And day pillar is Yin Metal Goat. Now, how does that interact with Isla's chart? Now, straight off, we can see here's a pig, she's a rabbit. Automatic combination. You're saying on their year pillar they combine. So that's also always a good sign. And that's really the year pillar forms the basis of your personality. And I guess for a lot of people, that's all they know. And so they just look for compatibility on the year. It does work to an extent, but that's not enough because I've seen charts where or people or couples where the year signs combine and they have a great marriage, but other ones, I've seen couples where the year signs don't combine and they have a great marriage still because of other elements in their chart. And I've also seen charts where the year pillars combine and they don't have a good marriage for the same reason that, the rest of the chart either forms elements that are not good for the other partner or messes up the other person's chart, that sort of thing. It's just the interactions as well. So it's sometimes it works with the just going on the year, but a lot of times it doesn't. Okay, it's just very basic guide. All right, now moving on from that, then what else have we got that can combine? We have a dog in Sacha's month that would combine with Isla's rabbit on her year. And lo and behold, Sacha's also got a goat on his day, which would also combine with a rabbit. And look, since he's got a goat and a pig, and she's got the rabbit, all three of them combine together to what we call a 3-harmony combination that produces wood. Now, coming back, what's a good sign for the both of them? Or what are good elements for the both of them? For Sacha, his chart is follow the money, okay? And money for him, money for him, because he's metal, would be wood. So the most favorable element for him is wood, then water that nurtures it. And the least favorable would be earth and metal, which controls his favorable elements. And then fire then would be just a neutral sign. So for Sacha and Isla, their combinations together does produce wood. So it is actually this match is actually a lot better for him than it is for her. I mean, she's had to make all the compromises. She's had to really, what do you call it? She's really had to convert to his religion, and I believe she finished, studied for 3 years and to convert to Judaism and completed her conversion in 2007. So that was the big thing. So with all these combinations, it's favoring Sacha. And because it's more than just the pig and the rabbit, as you can see, combining together, they also have the goat, it was stronger. And it held up for quite a while, okay, given that they had such quite a long marriage in Hollywood terms and celebrity terms, of course. All right, going back to their love and relationship history. They first met in 2001 at a party in Sydney. Now, what is 2001? 2001 was the snake year. And it was during when was 2001? It was during Isla's dragon luck cycle as well. So, and remember, Isla's house of spouse is governed by the rooster. Now, the rooster combines with the snake to form a partial metal combination. Okay, and metal is her best element. And not only that, because she's also got the ox on her month, all three of them combined together, that was a full 3-harmony metal combination. So that was a very good year for her. Look, and we have to admit, she was only known in Australia before, but once she met up with Sacha, and became his partner, she became a lot better widely known and a lot more famous, just like Nicole Kidman. After she married Tom Cruise, she became Hollywood famous. So Isla became worldwide famous because Sacha was, a lot more well known. Okay, and what does that mean? Also mean, and what about Sacha? Well, 2001, when was that? That was during his goat year. And 2001 for Sacha, that was during his goat luck cycle. Now, the goat luck cycle is the same as his sign on his house of spouse. So there you go. It's the same. It activated his house of spouse, and also Isla with the snake and the dragon luck cycle. Dragons also combine with the rooster. It's a 6-harmony combination that activated her house of spouse. Well, she's got 2 activations on her house of spouse, and so she met someone very significant, and and became significant in her life. And so she was with him for all that time, though this is the thing, they did not actually marry until 2010. So that's like a 9-year relationship until until they married. So she really hung on to there. So, and really through the whole time studied to convert to Judaism. Okay, and they married in 2010. They married in a Jewish ceremony in Paris. Now, 2010, that was a tiger year, but 2010, that was during Isla's snake luck cycle. And like I said, the snake combines with her rooster in her house of spouse, activates it. Okay, the marriage happened. And what about for Sacha? 2010, he was in the horse luck cycle. And horses combine with goat, which governs his house of spouse. So there you go. It's activated again, just all in sync almost. So that's why it happened. And what about children? Okay, they had 3 children. One in 2007. That was during their pig year. And 2007, the pig again combines with Sacha's goat. Unfortunately, we do not know what his hour pillar and Isla's hour pillar is because we don't know what their time of birth is. Now, the hour pillar governs children. It's the house of children. So it may have combined it, it may have not. So it's very much an unknown. And 2010, it was a tiger year. They had their second child. And 2015, the goat year, they had a son. I think they had 2 daughters first, and then they had a son. So the 3 children there. Now, what about the ending? We know that they're divorced now, which is sad. I mean, it's been like over 20 years they've been together ever since they met in 2001, which is a shame. And because they separated in 2023. All right, let's have a look at why they separated. 2023 is a rabbit year. So what happens? Rabbits and roosters, as I said, they are a clash. And what controls what's in Isla's house of spouse? It's the rooster. So she had a direct clash with her house of spouse last year. And that spells trouble for someone that's already married. That spells trouble. And so they separated. The relationship ended. And what about for Sacha? Well, the goat is in his house of spouse, governs his house of spouse. Now, the rabbits and goats combine. So what happens? Now, this is the thing. If you're single and you've got a combination or a clash in your house of spouse, it activates it. So what happens if you're already married and your house of spouse gets activated? Well, it's pretty clear that a clash on your house to spouse while you're married would actually put pressure on the relationship, on the marriage, if not break it apart. But what about combinations? Well, it can also happen with a combination on your house or spouse while you're married as well. Not always, but it can happen. But because also Isla's house or spouse had a direct clash, I guess that's it. Normally, if it's one side and it's only lasting a year, they can possibly get through it. But when it's for both people, that's double the pressure. And for more than 20 years, something gave way. And I think, and this is the thing with a lot of couples that you can see have gone on for like been married for 30 years and all of a sudden they split. It seemed like all of a sudden they split and it seems like a big shock to everyone. And then thinking, what? After 30 years, what happened? I mean, you know each other so well after 30 years, you'd expect there to be no problems. And it's usually because of reasons like this. They come towards a clash or a combination in their house or spouse. If it's a year, they have a better chance of getting through it. But if it ends up being because of a luck cycle, a clash through a luck cycle, then it becomes extremely difficult. I would say almost guaranteed that the split. Because 1 year you can possibly work through it. I guess bite your tongue for 1 year and just go, yes dear, yes dear, yes dear. But if it's something like 5 to 7 years, as the case with the effects from a luck cycle, it's a very tough ask. And so I would say almost every relationship or marriage, it just folds because of that. And this is the thing, you know, when couples meet and it happens to be after the luck cycle that the house of spouses clash, then you say, yeah, you've got good chances. Yeah, you marry. So very good chance that the marriage would last. Though for some people, if they're getting married and that clash is coming up soon, it's probably not a good idea too. And so for those reasons, it's good to get a relationship compatibility reading beforehand. Just so you know, at least you know, and so you'd be prepared. And then it's up to you whether or not you still want to go ahead. All right? All right, so that is Isla Fischer and Sacha Baron Cohen. Why they had split after more than 20 years together. All right. Now, something a bit different. I want to talk about masculine and feminine, the yang and the yin. Particularly now, you know, what we've been through, I say even the last decade has been a real big push for progressiveness and so forth, based on feelings and so forth. And to, I guess, Western way of interpreting that, the concept of that is more like a female archetype. And female in terms of being the feminine, it's been very much feminine energy. And that is really yin. You know, if you're familiar with the yin and yang symbol, you know, you have one side being black and the other side being white, and each has a germ of the other. And it's just a balance, not exactly opposite, but a balance. And you need to achieve a balance, and you need both. You can't have one going too much yang or too much yin. Then there are issues. And what we've had is a very, very yin energy. You know, with all this very much progressiveness and a push for the feminine to be up, women actually to be up, more prominent, and men to downplay their masculinity, and the constant being told that it's toxic masculinity is a problem and so forth. And that's why they are suppressing, discouraging men from being men, really, discouraging the masculine, and pushing for men to be more effeminate. So when we talk about yin energy, there's also, besides women, There's also effeminate men. Pretty much effeminate men has become more prominent, or at least, it's either effeminate men that were already there but too afraid to show that they are feminine in case of being mocked, or more men are becoming more effeminate because they think that's what's more acceptable rather than being their true selves. But now it seems like we've kind of like had a pullback with this recent election in the US. And it's expected that there'll be less of the progressiveness or even a pullback or going the other way, so to speak, a pushback, as you were, to flip and become, have the more masculine energy. And in a way, it is a good sign that the yin part, because if we've had too much yin, I'll have to say. And so because of the too much yin, there have been issues. All right. Just imagine, I think everyone would be familiar with, if you've got a workplace with all men, there are problems. Okay? The energetics around there's a problem. It creates a problem because of just one type of energy. Or you go to other workplaces where it's entirely women, then you get other problems. However, once you bring them together, have a mix, even mix of men and women, it seems like everyone just behaves themselves then, automatically without having to be told. Because of the way the energetics work, the problems dissipate. Men are not as it tones down all that masculine rhetoric, and for the females, it doesn't become too feminine. And so you achieve a balance. And because when there's a balance, you don't get issues. Just like, remember back to the yin and yang symbol, you got to have both. That is the thing. What happens when you only have one? Issues happen. And you can see it, in certain parts of the world where the feminine has really been suppressed. Well, those societies don't really function or don't function very well because they have issues. There's no softness in those societies. Everything is very harsh. And there seems to be a lack of beauty because women, besides being the caring and the feminine energy, I won't say women, I just say the yin energy, it's also, taking care of how there's beauty around it. Okay? And that's what's lacking in those societies. Whereas in the West, quite recently, you've had where they've become really yin. They've now imported lots of issues, being too caring or so forth, and that we accept everyone. And because they've accepted everyone and accepted a whole load of people, they've had all these issues with crime, with crime rates going up. And besides that, people being harassed. It's no longer even safe for women, and especially children are targeted as well. And authorities are too scared to do anything in case they get labelled racist. And so people turn the other way. It's like, what? You're sacrificing your women and children just so you can avoid being labelled as racist. What happens to that? That's when masculinity, the yang energy is needed. Because yang energy, what does masculinity do? It provides security, safety, because it's men that go to war. Okay, you can say what you like about women are just as capable of holding a gun, but it's different. Because imagine, would you have an army full of women go up against an army full of men? Okay, granted, you can say that both women can hold a gun, and so do just the same as the men do, but it's different. Men, because of the testosterone level, okay, there you can be a killing machine. Women do not have that same level of testosterone, and for a good reason, because women's functions and roles in society is different. It's not the same or less important, but it's just as important. Different roles, different needed. Because look, Just think it's not always a gun battle. Sometimes it's hand-to-hand combat. And are you going to have a woman doing hand-to-hand combat against a man? No matter how well trained a woman is, okay, she can probably beat an untrained man. However, not against another trained man. That's the reason why in contact sports, say the Olympics, you have separate divisions. You have women's boxing and men's boxing for a different reason. A female boxer can probably beat up a guy on the street, but not against another male boxer. No matter, she could be the top female boxer up against the bottom male boxer, and she would still lose, most probably lose. And, there are issues of that during the Olympics in the women's boxing. But I think you know what I mean. I don't have to go into it. Now, so women are not the same as men, and the feminine is not lesser importance than the masculine. You need both. Okay, so we've gone too far yin, and so now it seems like the flip and the pushback is gone. The more masculine is coming back now, and it is a good thing, and it is needed because we do need security. Okay, to the point, and it needs, because it's too far yin, it needs to come back to the center. So we've got the yang needs to come back and come back to the halfway mark. It's nowhere near the halfway mark at the moment. So we need the even split. We need that balance for society to function properly, for there to be sufficient security, sufficient beauty, and there is a compassion, but that compassion is also checked and balanced with security needs of the population. And so women can be safe as well and walk down the street and not have to be harassed. Okay? That is why in most societies there hasn't been female rulers. I mean, it was actually a matriarchal society in lots of ancient civilizations until hostilities have broken out. And then it did not work anymore, and then society shifted to the patriarchal society. But then again, some civilizations shifted too much, and some societies have stayed overly masculine up until now, and there are problems with that. And as I say, just in a relationship, you need the masculine and the feminine as well, and that's why there was always an advantage to be in a marriage where both partners are working together. Because besides security, the masculine provides, what does the masculine do? The masculine is mostly been men that have built our skyscrapers, our infrastructure, been the engineers that build and develop rockets for advancement of humanity that goes forth. And there have been probably spattering of women and women scientists like Madame Marie Curie and so to speak, but they're very far and few between. You cannot and you should not use an outlier case to cover a majority, because that doesn't work. It's whatever usually happens. And, you need that in society, just as you need the feminine to take care and beautify things and show compassion and look after your less fortunate, and be the nurturing and bringing up children, because they are the next generation in society. And so that's also why, families with both a father and a mother do much better than a single parent family. And as I say, with single mothers saying, and they say, why couldn't a mother be able to give love just as much and raise the child just as well without a father? And I would say no, because you're lacking the yang energy there. Okay, I mean, look, there are lots of deadbeat dads. There's no question about it. And if they're not doing their job, that's mute. There's no yang energy presence there. But children need the constant presence, the feminine and the masculine presence, because the father should be there to provide discipline, guidance to the child. Woman there to be the nurturing side. Child falls ill. Yeah, who does it come down to? Dads usually don't look after a sick child as well as a mummy does. But however, if the mummy's on her own with the children, she can care for that, but she cannot provide the direction and the discipline that their fathers do, because the children interact and perceive a male and a masculine figure differently than they would with a female. Okay, and that's why it's said that, well, an estimated 70% of criminals in jails, those in jails, are from single parent families. So it's pretty obvious, the discipline is not there. It's only mummy, and they don't take mummy seriously. She just provides the care for it. And also, you're being the good cop, you also need the bad cop, so to speak. Good cop, bad cop. Now, marriage. People. People do not realize and don't think that a love relationship, either marriage or partnership or whatever, is actually a created relationship, not a natural one. A natural relationship is something like a mother and child. The child does not have to do anything for the mother to love it. No matter what the child is, ugly or beautiful, fat, thin, poor, or even have a disability, the mother would love it. Why? Because it's her child. There is a natural bond. And so it is a natural relationship. However, now for a love relationship, firstly, it needs to be a created one. And how do you create a relationship? Okay, a love relationship. Well, the other person has to be firstly nice enough, in terms of behavior, or be appealing in some way. They might have unusual features or be naturally so beautiful that you want to be with that person, or hang around that person all the time, or have some skill or talent that appealing, anything that's appealing. Like, say that person might have artistic skill, might be able to paint portraits extremely well, or might have a musical talent. And so you firstly are attracted to that person and wanting to be that person. Granted, like I've kept saying, that is not enough to form much of a relationship, let alone a marriage. It's more like a thing. But anyway, it's so that you want to be with that person, want to get to know that person more. And to have a relationship, obviously there has to be an attraction there, and obviously love generates from there. I mean, why do you love someone? Someone that's not related. You love them because, okay, like a first instance, could be something shallow like looks, or something deeper like that person, you get along very well. You seem to enjoy the same things and so forth. And that, for most people, hits their heart. Someone's like me, or some like share the same values as you do, then you keep talking about something, and then you both agree on that same subject matter, or you might have the same political leanings as a big thing now. So you're in sync. You have the same mindset, and this is very important. More than just loving the same music or anything, it's a mindset that you have to be in sync with. And then you love spending time with that person, and this is the big thing, is that person adds value to your life. Okay? And if someone adds value to your life, well, you're never going to leave them, would you? Why would you? You'd be stupid to, be with them, or rather than be without them and not have that additional value to your life. And what's adding value to your life is, in a lot of instances, making your life easier. Just imagine yourself, if someone makes your life easier, then the more you love them, The more someone makes your life easier, the more you love them and the more you want to be with them, wouldn't you? Why not? They're making your life easier. And so you love them and you can keep wanting to hang around them. And so this is the thing when, you hear of things spoken like, I will love you forever. When it's said to you or you see that in the movies. And what does that really mean? Will they love you no matter what? No, that's a mother and child, more like a mother and child. The phrase, I will love you forever. Okay, what it really means, of course, means as long as you keep this up, you're like this, then I'm going to love you. Okay? And it really means I'm loving the you now, the you that is now. What you're able to, what you make me feel. The way you make me feel now is why I love you. And I'll love you forever because of this. And this is the kicker. People don't realize. I love you forever for the way you are now. The way you make me feel now. The way you make my life, fulfill my life now. You fulfill my life. And so what does this mean? This means this love, a love relationship, you have to keep nurturing it. You have to keep up what you're doing that the person loves you for them to continue to love you. Okay? And you continue to make their life easier and so forth, being, providing them with love. They feel loved. Your partner feels loved, or they get loved and how does your partner feel loved? By the little things that you do for them. And the little things and that's how they feel love. What your partner, just you think if it's you, okay, if the partner is great, being great, and so you think, oh, you love them forever, and then they might turn around and stop doing all the things that they were doing, especially now go, I have you, so to speak, especially after married, I don't have to keep it up anymore. One, they were being two-faced, and secondly, well, I loved you because that I thought you were that person that you presented yourself to be. Not the person after you've taken your mask off. Because one, you were lying to me. That wasn't who you really were. You were lying to me just to get me to marry you in a relationship or whatever. And this is your true self. I don't love this self of yours. So, really? This is a big kicker when someone says, I'll love you forever. It means they love you for you now. And so to keep having this love, you have to keep this up. Doing what you do, keep being the nice person. I know people change, with time. And I certainly am not the same person that I was 10 years ago. But my values have remained the same. And I guess it's been more refined, so to speak, after a while, as you get older and through more experiences, you acquire more knowledge and life experience and get smarter in a way because you've learned from your past mistakes. But as long as, I guess, your values remain the same, you're essentially the same person. Okay? Like, if you've always been truthful, I guess when you're younger, you've always been the honest person with that innocence. But I guess, when you're older and wiser, to speak, you still been honest, but then you might have learned to be honest to the degree that you're not hurting someone's feelings. Okay? Yeah, so you might avoid saying the truth. Like, does my butt look big in this? So to speak, there's no point in being truthful. It says, yeah, it looks like an elephant or something like that. What does that achieve? So you might even slip in a white lie, but it doesn't hurt anyone. It makes your partner feel happy, so to speak, or you just don't comment or so forth, or say, oh, you look good and everything, something like that, to gloss over it. Well, it might be not the absolute truth, but I think you know what I mean. in terms of, being older and wiser and not need to hurt or offend someone unnecessarily because of that, because the butt looks so big in that. Okay? And so, have to really nurture it. You have to keep keeping it up. And so that's why it's best for you if you meet someone and that you are your true self and that you are loved for being you, for you. And so you don't have to put in a mask or try, because once you do and they love you for that, then you have to keep at it. And if that's not the real you, you have to keep the pretense up, and it's tiring. It's tiring, and then you're not going to be happy because you're not being yourself. You're not able to be yourself. And so once you give it up, because eventually you will, because it's extremely tiring to be something you're not all the time, and revert back to being yourself, then the relationship is going to fall apart, because that was dependent on you being that persona. So that's why I always emphasize that you have to be able to be loved for yourself and what you naturally are, because there's no pretense. They love you for what you naturally are and yourself, and you're yourself all the time. You can be happy and they'll love you for it. So that's a big thing, chicka, to be able to find someone that loves you for you. Okay? Doesn't matter how rich the other person is, because if you have to change yourself like a lot of people do, because, hey, who doesn't want to marry a billionaire, so to speak, and have that billionaire lifestyle? But how long can you keep it up for, this persona? And that's why a lot of billionaires end up not having very good relationships. Like a big, one that immediately comes to mind is James Packer. I mean, he's been divorced twice now, and he's had a string of other relationships with models and so forth. And they've all broken up, and I guess he's never really had a happy love life or one that's really lasted. I mean, his most significant wife was Erica Baxter. Well, presumably they lived together for 10 years. And then once they married, after 3 children in quick succession, the marriage fell apart after 6 years. So you gather me, 10 years before they married and only 6 years during the marriage. Put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, that's why billionaires, and it's difficult for them. In a way, I do feel for them, because they're surrounded by yes men. They're surrounded by people that want to make them happy, so to speak, and say, pick me, pick me, pick me. So forth. And so they have no idea then who is actually true to them, what the real person is around. It's very difficult. And I guess, and that's why I also recommend to them, before they're going to commit to anyone or so forth, get an astrology reading done. Because then that other person, they cannot lie. Okay, they cannot lie as to who they really are, and they cannot lie, especially if they're saying they're not compatible, naturally compatible. It will come up. And you might think, what if they gave a false date of birth? They can do that. However, they would have no idea whether or not that date of birth they've given would form the chart, it would be actually compatible with this rich person. All right? So that's the big kicker. They cannot lie. So, and you really have to remember, who you choose to marry is what you're going to be happy with, to live with. It's very important. Now, who you choose to marry is what you have to be happy to live with. Okay, this might seem so obvious, but you really, you have to realize, and you would not believe how many people marry someone just because they like them without thinking about how would it be to actually live with that person? I think I might have touched a nerve, actually, because I don't think many people actually do. I mean, we buy things, some things we buy that appeal to us, but for big purchases, we really think about first before we go make the purchase, especially if that's a big purchase, yeah? Like a car, we think about what we need the car for, what our lifestyle, consider that first, and then we go and find the car and see if it has all the features that will fit into it. I mean, do we need a big car or a small car? You know, how capable are we driving a big car? Is all we need is a small car, be fuel efficient and so forth. And, you know, houses, particularly houses, the biggest purchase anyone makes. So we really have to think about, are we happy to live in that area? Is it close to work? If that's important, how we're going to get to work and how many rooms we need and so forth and so forth. We're going to make a purchase. Not just if it has a nice look, if the house looks nice. However, for some reason, when it becomes the biggest decision ever of our lives, who we're going to share our life with, few people actually think any of that. It might take you a touch of nerve, but most people only think, oh, okay, I enjoy being in that person's company and so forth. Enjoy their company. I want to be around with that person all the time. But few people actually think, well, what is it going to be like to actually live with them? What are their daily habits like that? Can I accept that? That would it fit in with me? And so forth. You know, how does that person actually interact the life with that person would be like? You know, first and foremost, to actually live with someone, you need to respect them. You need to be able to respect them. It seems like, it's just such an obvious question. Of course, you love your partner, you respect them, but not so much so. Like I say, love has to be supported. So you might love that person until you find out things about them that then you can't respect them, and then the love disappears. So you actually need to respect the person. So your partner has to be capable enough to earn your respect and also be able to keep your respect. So what does that mean then? Well, normally for a woman, how would she respect a man? Okay. He would need to be at least at her level in terms of capability. Then she would respect them. Because why? Because whether you like her or not, unconsciously, a woman likes to be protected, likes to feel protected and looked after. You know, forget about what feminists say. This is reality. I mean, why are there lots of rich old men still able to hook up with a model, a beautiful young model? Why? It's because he has the resources to be able to look after her and provide her with a good life. And so she can respect him, you know. And it doesn't have to be just money. Like in saying he might have skills or be the person that's able to make the tough decisions, you know, so they can get through life. And that way she feels protected in that way. And so that's how she can respect him. And that's a big thing for a man. Like I was saying, if you really think about it, what is masculinity? What is being a man really? You know, people might say, oh, it's the chiseled body, a six-pack and so forth, and oozing masculinity, that's so fine and so forth. But what is that for? For show? Or is it just for physical protection? I mean, that's what I guess women love tall men. I mean, tall men is a big thing. Why? I guess it comes down to it because they're large and imposing. She feels the physical protection. She feels psychologically, she feels like she's being he's able to protect her. Because he's big, okay, so able to fend off attacks and so forth. And that's physical protection, where he could be a small old guy, even sick, but he's got a lot of money. He can protect her because he's got the resources. He can hire bodyguards and so forth, and that way she feels protected. But also, yeah, like I was saying, yeah, a man really can he make the tough decisions? And make the tough calls and solve life's problems, and that's why it's protected, and that's why she would respect him. I'm not here to actually tell you all the politically correct stuff because you get that everywhere. It's all in the media. But guess what? It doesn't work because it's espousing an ideal, okay, rather than reality. And I'm saying reality because this is human behavior and this is what people are like. And that's what we have to deal with. And there's people who say, oh, you just can't excuse with human behavior and so forth. People need to be able to put the effort and so forth. And I'm saying, look, people need to be able, at the bottom line, people need to be able to be themselves. No one can be happy trying to be something they're not. Come on, be honest with yourself. And there's certain human behaviors and instincts that we all revert back to. And that's the baseline that we need to work with and need to face. And accept because that's reality. If we do not deal with the reality, then you do not get anywhere. It doesn't work. Okay? So that's for a woman. She needs to feel the man is able to protect her either physically or through resources or through his skills somehow. And what about for a man? Well, for a man, a woman, he really wants a woman that would make him feel happy and appreciated. Even, I guess a man would not mind, capable of a man doing all that stuff and protecting and look after a woman if he feels that he's appreciated. I guess that's human nature. I mean, if you do something for someone, if it's not through monetary terms, if they're not paying you or whatever, you at least want to feel that it's been appreciated. All your efforts have been appreciated. Yeah? It's human nature. And it's not just men. So a man, how they can live with someone is she needs to make him feel happy, appreciated, and in some ways looked after, like even, yes, cooking nice meals for him. If she doesn't work at all or is at home all day, comes home, there's dinner on the table waiting for him. Then he would not mind being the breadwinner and bringing the money. Because as there was a former feminist, I think she might have been on TikTok or somewhere, or at least social media, put a video out and I saw it. And she says, look, they have a traditional marriage. She used to be a feminist until she woke up. It doesn't work. It does not bring happiness. The yin needs the yang. That's it. And the feminists want the woman to be both the yin and the yang together, all in one go. It's not your nature, so you cannot be happy. And so what she says that, he might provide the house, but she turns it into a home. He might provide the money to buy the food, but she turns it into a meal for them. It's both living together. And in that way, he comes home, he's provided the house, and she turned it into a home. It's something he couldn't have been able to do himself, and he feels cozy and it's great. Or provided the money to buy the food, and he gets a nicely cooked meal with that. And then that way he feels appreciated, and feels like, he's not taken advantage of. And that's a big thing with us. I mean, no one likes to feel taken advantage of. No, really. You would not. I mean, you would if you keep doing everything and the other person, you get nothing back in return, not even thank yous or anything, and the other person feels entitled. Is this entitlement mentality? Then, of course, you feel taken advantage of, and why would you want to stay then? You'd rather leave. And that's the thing. You don't feel happy living with that person. You need to feel happy living with that person. And that person, if someone loves you, you need to nurture that love. And say, keep reminding them, this is the reason why you love me. It's just like you have a plant that you love, a beautiful flower or rose bush. To continue for it to provide flowers and be beautiful and healthy, you have to keep watering it and providing fertilizer and nutrients for it. For it to continue love. But if you take it away, then all of a sudden, okay, I've got the beautiful, it's blossoming, it's beautiful now. Don't have to water it. Forget about watering it. I've achieved what I wanted. It will die. Okay. And it's just like love. It needs to be continually supported. Okay. And what you've done for the person to love you, you have to continue to do it for the love to continue. Not take away your efforts. Those now he loves me or she loves me. Because guess what's going to happen? Love will just sink. It's pretty obvious when you think of it. Like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, this is just all conservative common sense or common sense." But hey, if someone had not pointed it out to you, you would not have thought of that, would you? No, be honest. People don't think it's only when someone points out, "Oh yeah, of course." Like saying it makes sense. Okay, of course, that would be the case. And I guess, this is another thing. I see there are couples that actually compete with each other. Okay, I say, okay, I'm better than you. Oh, I've earned more money than you and so forth. And they try to compete with each other. And of all things, even maybe try to put each other down when they're at family gatherings or social gatherings. Try to prove the point that they're better than their partner. I mean, why? Why do that? Why compete with your partner when life is hard enough already? The least you want is you want a helper in life, a partner in life to get through life. And not just trying to compete with the one person that's there that would be able to help you in life. It should be a case of you both holding hands against the world, facing the world together and all its challenges, combining both your resources together and working together, combining your both sets of skills to work together to provide and get ahead in life together. Hold hands and get in life together and to provide the best life you can for each other. Oh, yeah, for the both of you, really. That's what a marriage is, essentially. Now we're official. You've made the commitment in front of your family and friends and legally to the state as well. You are now a unit, a team. And now you're facing life's challenges together. And this is what people that are getting married need to know before they do. And people that are married need to realize, because if they're not already doing that, they should be. If they are competing with each other, they need to stop and help each other so the both of you can rise up. It's much easier, like I say, to work and do a task with both hands, working together than just one hand doing the task. And that is why marriage is an advantage over being single. Provided, of course, that you and a partner actually work together. That's a big kicker, because if you're not working together, there is no point being married. You might as well be on your own then. Okay, so this is the thing I have to say. Marriage is not for everyone. As much as I'm here wanting to make marriage great again, there are people that should not marry. Marriage is not for everyone. And who are the people that should not marry? I tell you, there are basically two people. One, people with little life skills. They're out there. If you have few life skills, okay, how do you deal with life? Because if you marry your partner, then would have to pick up the slack because you're unable to deal with it. And so if your partner keeps having to deal with everything, do you think that they're going to respect you? If there was respect in the beginning, it'll ebb away. You lose it. So, and there is no point, to be married and not be respected, you can't stay with someone that you don't respect as well, and why it's not pleasant to be with someone that does not respect you also. So you're better off on your own, and you should be on your own, really, because as much as, you'll be a help for you personally with a capable partner, if they're the ones doing everything, they're not going to be happy, and so no respect. Okay? And the second person that should not type of person that should not marry, is those that are not team players for obvious reasons. If you are not a team player, then marriage is not for you, because marriage is all about being a team. So if you're not pulling your weight around, again, the same thing as the person with very few life skills, then your partner's not going to respect you. Okay, and the difference between you not being a team player and the other person having little to no life skills is the other person might be involuntary. They're just not capable. But you, because you're lazy or slack or whatever, or self-centered, this is more of a voluntary, or then you should not engage in a marriage. Because what's going to happen, the other person, again, going to be sick of it and leave if they have to do everything. But also, if you're the type of person that doesn't play well with others, there are people like that. They're better off on their own, just like, even in a company, there's some people that don't, while they'd be extremely talented, don't work well with others. So they're better off given work or something they can do on their own. And that's how the workplace deals with it if their skills are so valuable in that way. But in other respects, yeah. Or if it's a life partnership, yeah, then no. You can't be, because it's about sharing together. That's the whole point, sharing our life and working together to build the best life you can for each other. All right? Now, we are coming towards the end of our show. I mean, it is today we've covered quite a bit, and I've gone through Isla Fischer and Sacha Cohen's relationship. Had a look at the charts, and in particular, why they split up. I mean, if you look at it, they met in 2001 and separated last year and divorced this year. A relationship of over 20 years, it was a big thing. And I guess a lot of people were surprised that they did split up and divorce, at least people that are not in the know. I guess if you were around the couple, if you're close to the couple, then you would have seen things coming. But to many of us, it was a surprise. And I guess it is the same thing, I guess, with relationships that have lasted for so long and gone the distance. And then it seems like all of a sudden they're split up, and no one can see why. Though when we look at our charts, at their charts, the astrological charts, is usually a good reason why. Then you can see it. And in their case, they really followed with the house of spouse. You can see when they met is when the houses of spouse were activated, when they got married, the houses of spouse were activated, and including when they were divorced or separated last year in 2023, the house of spouse was activated again. 2023, it was a year of the rabbit. Isla Fischer's house of spouse is a rooster, and so that was a straight clash. And Sacha's house of spouse is a goat, which combines with the rabbit last year, and that was an activation. And so you've got it from both sides, and so it's very different with both couples' charts. And so if they're both houses of spouse are under pressure, something gave way. It just gave way. It was too much. The pressure was just too much. I guess if it's for one couple, they can probably be able to sail through it for, if they really wanted the relationship, the marriage. But for two people, I guess, yeah, it's very difficult. And even this year, 2024, year of the dragon combines with Isla's house of spouse, which is the rooster, and so then it activates again, and so they're divorced. So there was no hope after the separation. And I guess that relationship is now kaput, so to speak. But again, like I say, if the clashes are coming later on, especially the luck cycles, it's behind you, then the clash is on directly with your house of spouse. If the luck cycles especially is behind you, then it's safer to get married then. I guess it's more like a plain sailing, so to speak, provided your intended partner, of course, their clashes with their houses of spouse in their luck cycle, it's also behind them. And then that's great. I guess that really improves your chances, the chances of this marriage being successful and lasting the distance. And that's why, for that reason, I encourage people to get a relationship compatibility reading beforehand, or even just a general reading so that you know. And for some people, they should marry, and some people, they should not marry. But that's something I will delve into another day. And also summarizing that, yes, you really need to be happy with the person that you're going to live with, and really think about how living with them would impact your life. Okay, will that make it better or not? I mean, and that's the third thing. Love needs to be nurtured. Okay, it's not a natural relationship, it's a created relationship. We can create a relationship with anyone in the world, provided there's sufficient things you have in common, I think, but the main thing is the mindset. And also, once the love is there, it's not enough. You have to nurture it. You have to continue to be or give or act the ways that enabled your partner to love you. And when that line says, I'll love you forever, what they really mean when they say that is, I love the you now. As long as you're this way and don't change, I will continue to love you. And that's the thing. It needs to be continually nurtured. Not just after, we had the wedding, that's it. Don't have to try anymore. It does not work that way. You want the love to continue. And also, yes, I touched on, yes, with the recent election in the US, it's now the masculinity is coming back by the signs of it, the yang. As I was saying, the yang is the masculine and the yin is the feminine. We've had over the last 10 years, I could see it being, at least the West, being more and more feminized and more yin. And it's just gone to yin. I mean, there's a yin yang. The philosophy is a balance for a very good reason. You need both. And you need both equally, in equal amounts, not one be more than the other, because that creates problems. As you can see in parts of the world where the femininity has been suppressed, the yin, it's very harsh. The society is very harsh. There's no beauty around either. Not much of a compassion. But then you see in the West at the moment where it's too yin, it's too feminine. Well, you've had so much crime rates. Your crime rates have shot up. Women are not, don't feel safe walking around the streets there anymore. And it's actually children are being attacked as well. And because the lack of the masculinity, the yang, because the yang provides security. You know, they provide security and protection. And the yin, the feminine, the nurturing and the beauty. You need both. It's just like a workplace works so much better when you've got both men and women. Why? Everyone behaves themselves. Workplaces with all men, there are problems. Workplaces with all women, there are other problems. But when you mix them up, they both come together. Everyone just behaves themselves. It's the energy dynamics. That's the way it is. Okay? So I'm saying there's not one that's more important than the other. Both the yin and the yang are equally important. Both the feminine and the masculine are just as important as each other. And they are both needed, and they both have to be equally there. All right? So that's the show for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And let me know what you think by leaving your comments on my Facebook page. Just search for Miss Dragonfly. And I also have one, Make Marriage Great Again. I do post different things on both Facebook pages. So follow both if you can, but at least follow one. And if there's any subject you'd like me to cover, then feel free to leave it there as well. And if I can cover it, then I will. All right, that's the show. So remember to tune in same time again next week. And until then, it's bye for now.